All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. It's time again to peek around the AFC South with our update from the South, where we take a look at the other teams in the division and the current standings. So, let's go. All in Colts.
That's right. I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam. And we are the Unstable Blues, happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Before we move on with the Colts Corner Bulletin, I noticed your hat and the logo on the front. This is kind of controversial to what we're doing here. Is it the Blackhawks one?
Yeah, this is my Blackhawks hat.
Okay.
I'm always most of the time backwards hat. Here, I'll represent. Yeah. There we go. I got the Chicago on.
Okay.
The Blackhawks.
At least we are not playing the Bears.
No. Although this is in honor of maybe one of the teams that we'll discuss tonight in the games. Yep. So, I guess I am subtly theming. Your mother always gives me a hard time for always theming. Hence the flag back here. But anyway, it's starting to be hockey season. It's preseason hockey right now.
It's true. Preseason basketball as well.
It is preseason.
I did my first ever NBA fantasy league I'm in.
Oh.
I did my first ever draft last night, and with all the injuries and how stuff is shaken down, my team looks really good. And I tried to get Halliburton, and then I tried to get Siakam, literally one pick away from getting Siakam and both Halliburton. So I'm like, okay, I don't care if this is a reach or not. With my last pick, I got Turner. I'm like, I have to have a Pacers guy on my team. I'm not trying to win this fantasy basketball.
It's just for fun at this point.
It's just for fun. I need Turner in there.
Yeah.
So
I got you. All right. So yes. So it's a little bit of cross, but we're into mid-October, and baseball is wrapping up, and
it's true.
Other sports are starting up. Believe it or not, there are more sports than just NFL football.
Sadly.
But we do love them as well. I mean,
yes.
Hockey
basketball gets super fun in our household.
Hockey is unloved in many places. So, having lived in Chicago for a little bit, caught the
Blackhawks are our team.
We went to a couple Blackhawks games. You didn't, but
I've never been to a hockey game before.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. It's its own thing. Don't go to a hockey game and expect it to be like anything else. It's a hockey game. You have to go in with an open mind, because even though I was told that the Chicago Blackhawks fans cheer throughout the entire national anthem, I was told that they were like, "Hey, this is what happens. Get ready for it." I'm like, "Okay." Seems odd, seems disrespectful, but I think I'm ready for it. And then it happened. I still wasn't ready for it. I was like, this is weird. They're the whole national anthem. There's, yeah. I'm like, okay.
So I guess it wasn't disrespectful. Just really happy to be an American.
Right. And in the United Center, the arena that Michael Jordan built, they have a flag that sits in front of an air duct, and so when it talks about the flag waving, they blow air, and
that's cool.
It's the same guy every time. Hockey is much like the Indy 500, a lot of history, right?
Yeah.
So almost in every stadium, there's still an old school organ player, right, that plays organ music at different points. They'll have pop music that plays in between, but there's an actual organ, old school organ. And then so the national anthem is always sung by the same guy who graduated from the IU School of Music, and is very operatic in his approach. and he sings it the same way every time. Like he goes for it, so it feels, even though it's in a modern setting, it feels very traditional, very old school, very steeped in history, and you feel that,
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
historical game, and they want you to feel that history, even if they've still got all the LED boards and everything like that. They want you to feel like you're a part of the past as well.
Makes sense.
And the Blackhawks are part of the original six, I think is what they call them. Original six, original eight teams in the NHL altogether. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Long explanation for no apparent reason whatsoever. Why don't you take it away with
Colts Corner Bulletin time. I remember this time. AR should be ready to go this week against the Dolphins, citing unless there's a setback in quotation marks.
yes,
So-
yes, Shane said that. So my question is, do you anticipate a setback?
I don't know.
You catch my
I
meaning?
think- yeah. I think
Are they dangling so that you have to prepare for two quarterbacks again, and then no.
yeah. I don't know. I think this could be that, or it could just be Shane being honest and kind of reverse psychology, doing that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see whenever it comes game time.
Yep, that's exactly right. We may not know until it's really time to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
true,
rhymes,
'cause it
so
rhymes.
it's true. Yeah,
That's
there we
right.
go.
That's right.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. People they're like, what? Why? Okay. Should we explain?
I think if we can explain quickly.
I got this. Okay. So I have this theory that if it rhymes, it must be true because, and it all stems from this statement: happy wife, happy life. Nobody ever said happy husband, happy life because it's not true. But happy wife, happy life is true. It rhymes. And so if it rhymes, it must be true. So it's a little deductive reasoning that may not actually be accurate at all. But current standings.
Yes, current standing. Houston is 5-1. We are 3-3. Titans are 1-4, and the Jaguars are 1-5. Titans are the only one who have had a bye, so that's why they are technically beating the Jaguars.
Yep. And like we said yesterday, that there seems to be a great difference between 3-3 and 1-4. But if the game had gone the other way on Sunday and the Colts had lost, they would be 2-5. Is that correct?
2-4.
2-4. And
So with the Titans.
the Titans would be 2-3, having the bye.
It's true.
So they would technically be still in second place. So, as we mentioned yesterday, that's why that game we didn't want to put too much pressure on it, but it was a pretty big deal. So
It was pretty
glad
big.
we got it done.
Yep.
It's time first for the team from Houston update.
Yes.
I think I have one.
I think you
one in mind.
have.
Have had. Oh, okay. Yeah. Houston, congratulations. You beat the Patriots, which means a lot less now than it did about 10 years ago.
It's true. It's true. Very true. Speaking of playing the Patriots, they played the Patriots last week. It was in New England, so you had to go to Foxborough and play.
Yeah.
The Patriots looked better than I think most people expected. They kind of started slow, and then they brought it back. I think it was 10-14 at one point, something like that.
Yeah.
Or at least it felt that way. Still, though, they made turnovers, and Houston did what Houston does. They just played really well.
Yeah. Yeah. There were lots of times in that game where the Patriots, I mean, Drake May looked good. I will say he looked good. And there were
True.
several opportunities that they had an opportunity to, they had an opportunity before half to go up or to get more than what they got. Then they got the ball back in the second half and had an opportunity to tie before there was a turnover. It just looked like there were so many opportunities that the Patriots had to really just maybe be right there, but something would happen that is a rookie quarterback kind of thing, or a pick, a fumble, whatever, that would just keep them from just really catching up. And so,
Yep.
and the Houston made them pay every single time, every single time. So that doesn't help either.
Yeah. Next week, Houston plays in Lambeau, playing against the Packers. I don't know if Packers coming off of a win or not. I mean, here, I'll look it up quick.
I was going to look it up.
Packers score.
They beat the Cardinals.
They beat the Cardinals, yeah. So they're coming off a win. I mean, Packers have, I don't know how they've been, honestly. Packers are all up in the air right now. Jordan Love seems to be playing good here, then he plays bad. Can't really tell which is which. Frustrating for the Packers, I'm sure. But this is kind of a big game for both teams. What's your key to the game here?
My key to the game is the coaches. Me and coaching. Players play on the field, but players only do what the coaches coach them up to do. So that's why I believe it's such a big deal. DeMeco Ryans versus Matt LaFleur. This is defensive coach versus offensive coach. One of the best defensive coaches against one of the best offensive coaches. No doubt about it, right? This is what it comes down to. Who is going to be better in that role? And I think, if I'm really thinking about it, it may actually come down to the other side of the ball rather than the head coach's specialty. Does that make sense? It may come down to Green Bay's defense against Houston's offense, even though the coaches wouldn't lend you to think that. So, am I going to tell you what it's going to happen? No, you got to tune in tomorrow to the Pick Six to see what you think. What you think I'm going to think is going to happen.
Yes.
What's your key to the game?
I think I got a rather odd one here. Injuries.
Oh, okay.
You get into the point of the season where people are dealing with injuries. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson had his season-ending injury. Looked like a shin shattered tibia, something like that. Literally shattered.
Tibia and fibia.
Oof.
Both of those shin bones.
I don't want to go into too much depth just in case people have
Please
not
don't.
strong
You almost
stomachs.
made me sick.
But it looked like the straw that you get that's like plastic and it kind of bends. That's what his leg was doing around the other person's leg, and it was flopping. And then someone landed on top of it after that, which probably didn't feel good. Anyways, someone showed me that. Someone showed me it literally today, and I was like, ooh, because I had a leg injury myself, so I hate looking at that type of stuff. Yeah. They told me it was a leg. I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. And then with shin, it was the shin. I was like, okay, that's not as bad for me because it's not knee injury, but like Nick Chubb's injury. Once I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. But I think it's just a point of the season where people are dealing with a lot of injuries. Nico Collins obviously on IR, so that frees up Jair Alexander to either hop in the slot or on the other side of the field to either cover Tank Dell or what's his name, Stephon Diggs. I think Nico Collins is probably the biggest injury in that matchup. I think the Packers don't have a lot of injuries. I don't want to jinx anything.
Musgrave, tight end.
Right, but Kraft has been performing really, really well.
Yep.
So I'm not too worried about that. So I think Nico is definitely the biggest injury in that game, and it sucks for the Texans, but it sucks for the team from Houston. But they just have so many weapons anyways that I don't know. And their run game is so good. You got to stop that, if anything. So, but that's multiple keys to the game. I'll get more into depth a little bit tomorrow. But as of now, injuries. That's my key to the game.
All right. 95 Kitties update. That would be the Jaguars, who played the Bears in London last week. I was thinking about this and how funny this is. Like, as far as like, it's like one of those like math problems, logic problems you have in like elementary. The Colts beat the Bears. The Jaguars beat the Colts. But then the Bears beat the Jaguars. How are these things possible? Right?
It's a perfect
triangle. It doesn't make sense. It just goes to show you, like, every week in the NFL, you never know what's going to happen. Like, this is what makes our unstable picks so unstable. It's what makes everyone want to watch, even if there's hockey on, because you never know what's going to happen, right?
It's true.
Like, the team that is 0 whatever can beat somebody who is playoff bound and keep them from the playoffs, like Jacksonville did a couple of years ago. I'm not bitter. But no. So that's it. But the Jaguars never looked right, even with Ingram back. If you ask me, they were jet lagged because they had some flight issues around the hurricane that went through Florida. We said they should have just left early. They didn't. They got delayed, and I think it impacted their performance because and Caleb Williams looked really good. He really did.
Stepping up in his position. He's won the past 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
And he's played really well in both weeks as well. So
yep. So next week they stay in London and they play those same Patriots that got beat by Houston.
Yes.
What are your keys to the game? Or what's your one key to the game?
I think it is the battle of quarterbacks here. Drake May versus Trevor Lawrence. I would argue to say they're both in the same area of Drake May is kind of proving himself, and so is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor is proving he is worth that money because he doesn't look like he's worth it right now. The only game that he looked like he was worth it was against us, and that wasn't even because of him. His like I said in a couple weeks ago, his longest throw was an interception, which is sad. Not even incompletion, an interception. And it wasn't deep. It was like 40 yards, maybe. He does not look to be worth $55 million. I believe that's what his contract is for. And Drake May,
something like that.
I mean, Drake May looked pretty good last week. Yeah, he had a hard defense to go up against, but his first touchdown was a beautiful touchdown. He was kind of struggling. He lofted one down the field, down the sideline. Receiver caught it in stride, got a touchdown from it. Looked pretty good.
He used his legs too.
Yep. And, I mean, that's kind of what every quarterback nowadays that got picked up this year, that's what everybody's doing. Drake May scrambling around, Bo Nix as well. Josh Allen just a little bit ago, because as we're recording this, Monday Night Football is on. Josh Allen right now he had an amazing play where he swooped through someone, ducked underneath a defensive lineman's arms from a tackle, threw a dot on, like, he's rolling to his left, so he cross body throws a dot into the end zone where Dawson Knox, who hasn't been performing that well this year, caught a touchdown. And then right after that, Aaron Rodgers went down and scored a Hail Mary. King of Hail Marys does it again. I don't know what the score is right now, but my fantasy team relies on it because I'm am undefeated, but I'm only up by 3 points right now. So, anyways, that's besides the point. It's a battle of quarterbacks for me. Who wants to prove themselves more? And honestly, I don't know which one exactly we're talking about just yet in this episode, so I won't spoil anything just yet.
All right.
About how I feel about that.
Sounds good. My key is can the Patriots O-line hold up against the Jags D-line? I think that's what it comes down to. The Patriots had their 6th different starting lineup on their offensive line. So that means that they have had a different starting lineup all 6 games thus far. Can they put the right pieces in the right places to get the job done against what we know from experience is a very, very good defensive front who will get after you. Trayvon on one side, Hines Allen on the other. So what is the offensive line really going to do against that to keep Drake May up? That's what it comes down to.
Like that. It's good. Yep. Last but not least quite.
Nope, not according to the standings.
Yep. Displaced Oilers update. Titans, for those who don't know. Last week they played us and lost to us. You can check out yesterday's episode for the full breakdown of that. Next week they're playing in Buffalo against the Bills. So we will. I mean, right now I just checked the score. It's tied 20-20 with like just under 10 minutes left in the fourth.
That's what it was when I left it.
So we'll see about that. As of right now, what are your keys to the game from what you have seen from?
I mean, I don't know that I need to watch the whole game and know who wins to get my keys to the game. The Bills got to get to Levis. The Titans have to stop Josh Allen. Like it's a key for each team, right? In order for the Bills to win, they got to get to Levis. In order for the Titans to win, they have to stop Josh Allen. That's as simple as it is. I won't tell you anymore because I'll save the rest for tomorrow when we talk about this in the Unstable Pick 6.
Yeah. I think my key to the game has to be pretty much similar to yours. Levis versus Allen. They both have cannons. One is just there to show it. But I think, I won't spoil anything, but I think it is a battle of quarterbacks and who is going to use their cannon the better way. Obviously, so far it's been Josh Allen. He looks like an MVP candidate right now, honestly.
Yeah.
Way too early MVP calls, but still, he's looking really good. But, Will Levis has had his bright spots as well. Not necessarily against us, didn't throw for over 100, but maybe that motivates him to perform better. So, we'll see.
All right. We're going to pick 2 of these games coming up in our Unstable Pick 6 tomorrow. So that means it is now time for the Outlier Pick. This is a game that we will not pick tomorrow in the Unstable Pick 6, but in order to give you all of the information that you could possibly want on all the AFC South, we're going to give you our prediction on the Patriots and the Jaguars from London.
Yep,
so
in London. Another 10 o'clock game.
To highlight these special, event kind of games in our Pick 6. Not this week. It's the Patriots and it's the Jaguars. This is a 1-5 team against a 1-5 team.
Yes.
Congratulations, Wembley Stadium.
Nothing super special.
You're doing great.
Nothing super special. Like I said, it's a battle of quarterbacks. I think Drake May has been on a hotter streak than Trevor has. Obviously, I don't have to think as much about this for the prediction because it's not an official pick 6, which I think I actually did really well in this week. Tune in tomorrow for that, though.
A lot riding. You got a lot riding on this game.
I do. I don't remember who I picked, but
You picked the Bills. I picked the Jets.
I did pick the Bills. So I need Jets players to do well in fantasy, but the Bills to win. But I think that the Patriots are going to get it done. Yes, Jaguars have had more time in London. Patriots might be jet lagged, but I think Drake May is off to a pretty good start, and they played pretty decently against Houston. But I wouldn't bet anything against Jaguars or anything like that. I think both these teams are very capable of winning this game. And I think both these teams aren't necessarily as bad as their record may show. Although I think they both are pretty bad teams.
I agree with you on pretty much all accounts. I'm going to go back to one of the things that you said and say that it has to do with jet lag. First game had to do with it. The fact that the Jags get 2 weeks in a row in London is not fair to the second team at all, whatsoever. Because the second team has to mess with their whole travel plans and everything like that, and they're just trying to figure this out, right? The Jaguars, the fact that they showed up jet lagged is mysterious to me because they do this every year where they play in London, and they should have this down to an exact science. The hurricane messed them up. It messed them up. They ain't going to get messed up at this point. They want to come out of London with at least one win, and they're not going to let the lowly Patriots take it from them, in my opinion.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, that is it for today. Then later this week, we will have our fantasy stable look at Colts players, fantasy stats, and projections, and we'll have our preview of the Dolphins game back at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yep. This is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you to stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.